Welcome to Dansplain, everyone. I'm Edward, and as always, with me is the brilliant Lily.
Thanks for having me back.
All right, everyone, get ready. Today, we are diving deep into cryptocurrency. We'll be talking about what it is, the tech behind it, and why it's become such a hot topic. And whether you're following crypto for years or just starting out, I think you'll find this deep dive pretty interesting. So let's get right to it.
You know, what's really interesting to me is that cryptocurrency, it's not just about some new technology or making money. It's really about how we assign value to things. Like, it challenges the whole concept of money as we know it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's unpack that a bit. For someone who's completely new to all this, how would you explain cryptocurrency? I mean, I've heard people call Bitcoin digital gold, but that doesn't really paint the whole picture, does it?
Not really, no. It's more like think of it as digital money that exists outside the control of banks or governments. It's decentralized, so basically it relies on a network of computers to verify transactions instead of a single authority.
So there's no one person or institution calling the shots.
Right, exactly. And the network uses something called blockchain. It's essentially a public ledger that's virtually tamper-proof.
Got it. So it's like a digital record of every single transaction spread across tons of computers.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds pretty secure.
It is very secure. It makes it extremely difficult to counterfeit or manipulate. Now, Bitcoin is the most well-known example. People often compare it to gold because there's a limited supply, and it acts as a store of value. But here's the thing. There are tons of other cryptocurrencies out there, each with its own unique characteristics.
Okay, so we've got thousands of these altcoins popping up. What's driving all this interest? What's the appeal?
Well, some people see it as a way to get rich quick. Early investors in Bitcoin and Ethereum saw massive returns. But you have to remember, the market is extremely volatile. It's high risk, high reward.
Yeah, definitely not for the faint of heart.
But it's not just about making a quick buck. A lot of people are drawn to this idea of financial freedom, taking control of their money outside of traditional financial systems.
So there's a bit of a rebellious streak to it.
I think so, yeah. A lot of people are disillusioned with the current system. They see crypto as an alternative.
I can see the appeal in that for sure.
Yeah.
But let's be real. There have to be some downsides to all of this, right?
Of course. There are definitely risks. The lack of regulation is a big one. It allows for innovation, which is great. But it also creates a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah, it's a bit of a Wild West out there.
Exactly. And security is a major concern. We've seen exchanges get hacked. People have lost their savings.
That's scary.
Yeah, it's a real risk. And then there's the environmental impact, particularly with Bitcoin, which uses a lot of energy.
Right. The energy consumption is a big concern for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got Bitcoin, the original cryptocurrency,
right,
acting as this kind of digital gold. What's the next big player we should be talking about?
Well, there's Ethereum. It's not just a currency. It's a platform for building decentralized applications using something called smart contracts.
Smart contracts? That sounds pretty futuristic.
It is. It's pretty amazing. Think of it as self-executing agreements. They're written in code, and they can automate all sorts of things.
So instead of relying on lawyers and banks, it's all handled by code.
Yeah, basically.
That's next level.
It has the potential to revolutionize all sorts of industries.
Okay, I need an example. Something that really illustrates the power of these smart contracts.
Okay, imagine a decentralized insurance platform. Smart contracts could automatically trigger payouts based on real-world events like flight delays or crop failures. No more dealing with claims processors or waiting forever for your money.
Wow, that's actually pretty brilliant. It cuts out all the bureaucracy and middlemen.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes things much more efficient and transparent. Okay, let's talk about some of those other altcoins. We've got Litecoin, Cardano, Ripple. It's a whole crypto zoo out there.
It is. It can be overwhelming.
So tell me, what are some of the key differences between these coins?
Well, each one tries to solve a different problem or offer unique features. Litecoin, for example, focuses on faster transaction speeds compared to Bitcoin. It's being positioned as more of a digital cash for everyday use.
Okay, so Litecoin is all about speed and convenience.
Right.
What about Cardano? What makes it stand out?
Cardano is interesting because it's built with a scientific, peer-reviewed approach. They're really emphasizing sustainability and security.
So Cardano's for the environmentally conscious crypto enthusiast.
You could say that. They're trying to address some of the concerns people have about the energy consumption of crypto.
I like it. And what about Ripple? I hear that one's making waves in the financial world.
Yeah, Ripple's aim is to revolutionize global payments. especially for institutions. They're partnering with banks to facilitate faster, cheaper cross-border transactions using their cryptocurrency, XRP.
So they're trying to bridge the gap between traditional finance and the crypto world.
That's exactly it.
It sounds like they're taking a more collaborative approach.
They are. They're not trying to overthrow the system. They're trying to work within it to make it better.
Okay, so we've got digital gold, a platform for building the future of finance, and a whole bunch of altcoins trying to find their place in this digital revolution. But how is all of this playing out on the global stage? Are countries embracing crypto, or are they pushing back?
It's a mixed bag, to be honest. It's a real geopolitical balancing act. Some countries, like El Salvador, they've gone all in on Bitcoin. They've made it legal tender. Others, like China, have taken the opposite approach. They've implemented strict bans on crypto, citing financial risks and concerns about energy consumption.
So it's a real tug of war between those who see crypto as the future and those who see it as a threat.
Exactly.
What are the main drivers behind these different stances?
Well, regulation is a huge factor. Governments are struggling to figure out how to approach this new technology. They want to protect consumers and ensure financial stability. But they also don't want to stifle innovation.
It's a tough balancing act.
It is. And it made even more challenging by the fact that crypto is evolving so rapidly.
The rules can barely keep up.
That's right.
But beyond the regulatory challenges, are there deeper concerns at play here?
Definitely. Some countries are worried about the potential impact on their economies, especially in places with weaker currencies. They're concerned that crypto could undermine their monetary policies.
Okay, I can see how that would be a concern.
And then there's the issue of illicit activities, money laundering, terrorism financing. The anonymous nature of some cryptocurrencies makes them attractive for criminals.
So there are national security concerns as well.
Absolutely.
This is serious stuff. It's not just about tech geeks and making money. It has real-world implications.
It does, and we're only just beginning to understand the full scope of those implications.
With all the risks and uncertainty.
Yeah.
What's driving this massive global interest in crypto?
It's a complex question, but I think for a lot of people, it represents a chance to build a more inclusive and equitable financial system.
Okay, I like that.
Think about the unbanked populations around the world. Crypto could give them access to financial services that they've never had before.
That's a powerful idea.
It is.
It's not just about making a quick buck.
It's about empowering people and giving them control over their own financial futures.
I think we've covered a lot of ground here, from the basics of what crypto is
Yeah,
to the potential global impact.
we have.
But before we move on, any other key takeaways you think our listeners should keep in mind?
I think the most important thing to remember is this is still early days. Cryptocurrency is constantly evolving, and it's impossible to predict where it will go from here. But one thing's for sure, it's a force to be reckoned with. It's already changing the way we think about money, finance, and even power itself.
I'm definitely hooked. Let's take a quick breather, and when we come back, we'll dive even deeper into the practical applications of crypto and explore some of the trends shaping the future of this wild digital frontier.
Sounds good. Welcome back. Are you ready to explore how cryptocurrency is actually being used in the real world?
Oh, absolutely. I'm eager to move beyond the theory and get into the practical applications, see how this tech is actually making a difference.
All right, well, let's start with decentralized finance. DeFi, for short.
DeFi. Okay, I've heard that term thrown around. But I'll admit I'm still a bit fuzzy on what it actually means.
It's a bit of a buzzword, I know. But it's also a movement that's really shaking up the financial world.
Okay, I'm intrigued. So break it down for me. What's the big idea behind DeFi?
Imagine a world where you have financial services, but without the banks.
Wait.
That's essentially what DeFi is trying to create.
Okay, no thanks.
It uses blockchain technology and those smart contracts we talked about earlier.
Right, the self-executing agreements.
Exactly, to create things like lending platforms, decentralized exchanges, even stablecoins.
All operating outside a traditional financial system.
Exactly.
So it's about cutting out the middleman.
Making finance more accessible, more transparent.
I like where this is going.
It's a pretty radical idea.
But how does it actually work in practice? Can you give me a concrete example?
Sure, let's take lending, for example. With DeFi, you can lend your cryptocurrency to other people and earn interest on that loan.
Okay, that sounds a lot like traditional lending.
It is similar in some ways, but here's the key difference. The entire process is governed by smart contracts.
So no need for a bank to facilitate the loan or to set the interest rates.
That's right.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
And because everything is happening on the blockchain, it's all transparent and potentially more efficient than traditional lending.
I see. So it's all out in the open.
Anyone can see what's happening, which can increase trust and accountability.
Right. No more shady backroom deals.
Exactly.
Now, you mentioned stable coins earlier. What exactly are those and how do they fit into all of this?
Stablecoins are cryptocurrencies, but they're designed to be more stable in value than other cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin or Ethereum.
Okay, so less volatile.
Right. They're usually pegged to a stable asset, like the US dollar, for example.
So they're kind of like a bridge between the wild west of crypto and the stability of traditional currencies.
That's a good way to put it. They offer a way to participate in the crypto ecosystem without being exposed to those wild price swings.
I can see how that would be appealing to a lot of people.
It is, especially for those who are new to crypto.
So stablecoins are becoming more popular for everyday transactions.
Definitely. They're also being used in all sorts of DeFi applications like lending platforms and decentralized exchanges.
This is fascinating stuff. DeFi really seems to have the potential to completely change how we think about finance.
I think so too. It's still early days, but the possibilities are pretty mind-blowing.
But let's zoom out a bit. Beyond the world of finance, what other real-world applications are we seeing for this tech?
Oh, there are tons of them. Blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies are being used in all sorts of industries.
Okay, give me some examples. What's got you really excited?
One area that I find particularly interesting is supply chain management.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that. How does blockchain improve supply chains?
Well, imagine being able to track a product from the moment it's created all the way to the consumer.
Like a digital trail that follows the product at every step of the journey.
Precisely. And that trail is tamper-proof because it's stored on the blockchain.
So no more fake goods or counterfeit products.
Exactly. It brings a whole new level of transparency and accountability to supply chains, which benefits everyone involved.
That's amazing.
Consumers can be confident that they're getting authentic products. Businesses can reduce fraud and waste. And it can even help verify ethical sourcing practices.
It's a win-win for everyone.
And it's not just about physical goods either. Blockchain can also be used to secure and manage digital assets.
Okay, like what?
Well, think about your medical records. Imagine them being stored securely on a blockchain, accessible only with your permission.
So no more worrying about data breaches or unauthorized access.
Right. Or think about property titles. They could be digitally registered and transferred using blockchain technology.
No more mountains of paperwork.
Exactly. It could streamline so many processes that are currently bogged down by bureaucracy.
It sounds like blockchain could really revolutionize how we manage and share information.
I think so.
But with all this potential, we have to address the risks.
Of course.
What are some of the downsides we need to be aware of?
Well, as with any new technology, there are challenges. One of the biggest ones is regulation. The regulatory landscape is still very uncertain. Governments around the world are still figuring out how to approach this technology.
Yeah, it's a bit of a wild west out there.
It is, and that uncertainty can create challenges for businesses and investors.
I can imagine.
And then there's the issue of security. We've all heard those stories about exchanges getting hacked and people losing their crypto.
Yeah, those stories are pretty scary.
They are, but it's important to remember, security is paramount in the crypto world. It's crucial to choose reputable exchanges and wallets, to understand how to store your private keys securely.
So education is key.
Absolutely. Knowledge is your best defense against scams and security threats.
Right. You can't just jump into this blindly.
Exactly. And then there's the issue of scalability. As crypto adoption grows, blockchains need to be able to handle a massive volume of transactions quickly and efficiently.
Right. If we're talking about revolutionizing finance,
Yeah.
it can't take hours to process a simple transaction.
That's right. Scalability is a big challenge.
Are there solutions in the works for this?
Absolutely. Developers are constantly working on new solutions, like Layer 2 technologies, which aim to increase transaction speeds and lower fees without compromising security.
So it's an evolving space.
Very much so.
It's incredible to think about how far crypto has come in such a short time.
It is.
And we've only just scratched the surface here. We've talked about DeFi, real-world applications, and some of the challenges.
But there's still so much more to explore.
Exactly.
In our final segment, we'll take a step back and consider the broader implications of cryptocurrency, how it could impact society, reshape the global economy, and fundamentally alter the future of finance.
Okay, now I'm really curious.
It's a big topic.
I'm ready to dive into the deep end of this crypto conversation.
Let's do it.
Okay, we're back, and I'm ready to tackle those big questions. We've talked about how cryptocurrency works and some of its real-world uses, but now I want to explore the larger implications of this whole crypto revolution, the so what.
Yeah, I think that's the most fascinating part. Thinking about how this technology could potentially reshape not just finance, but society as a whole.
Exactly. We're talking about possibly shifting power dynamics, changing how we think about money and value, maybe even impacting entire global economies. It's a lot to unpack. Where do we even begin?
Well, let's start with this idea of decentralization. I mean, that's really at the heart of what cryptocurrency is all about. It's about taking power away from central authorities, like governments and banks, and putting it back in the hands of individuals.
So it's kind of like a power to the people movement.
In a way, yes. It appeals to people who distrust traditional institutions.
But what are the real-world implications of that power shift?
Well, imagine a world where your access to financial services isn't determined by your location or your credit score.
Okay, I'm listening.
Crypto could give financial tools to the unbanked populations around the world, people who've been excluded from traditional systems. It could empower them to participate in the global economy.
That's a powerful idea, leveling the playing field.
Exactly.
But could this decentralized system also lead to new problems? Like, could it be more easily exploited for illicit activities, things that are harder to track or regulate?
That's a valid concern. The anonymity that some cryptocurrencies offer can be a double-edged sword. It's important to find ways to balance privacy with security, to prevent things like money laundering and terrorism financing.
Right, so it's about finding that balance.
Exactly.
And speaking of risks, what about the potential impact on global economies? Could crypto destabilize things, lead to new kinds of financial crises?
I mean, the potential for volatility is definitely there. We've seen how quickly crypto markets can swing, and that creates uncertainty for sure. Governments and central banks are still trying to figure out how this new form of money fits into their existing systems, how to manage the potential risks.
It sounds like central bankers are having a lot of sleepless nights.
I'm sure they are.
But besides all the volatility, could crypto also offer solutions to existing economic problems?
Absolutely. Take, for example, countries with hyperinflation, where people are losing faith in their local currency. Crypto can provide a stable alternative.
Interesting.
It can also facilitate cross-border transactions more efficiently, potentially boost international trade.
So it's not all doom and gloom.
Not at all.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit and talk about the future of finance itself. We touched on DeFi earlier, but how could this whole decentralized system really reshape the traditional financial landscape?
I think DeFi is really pushing the boundaries of what's possible. We're seeing these new platforms emerge. Decentralized lending platforms, exchanges, insurance protocols, all operating on the blockchain, cutting out the traditional intermediaries.
So are we heading towards a future where banks become obsolete? Will we all be managing our finances through these decentralized platforms?
It's hard to say for sure. DeFi is still in its early stages, and there are definitely challenges to overcome, like scalability and user experience.
Right, it needs to be easy for everyone to use.
Exactly. But it's a force to be reckoned with, that's for sure. It's pushing traditional financial institutions to adapt and innovate.
Sounds like the financial world is in for a big shakeup.
It is.
Now, there's another player in this space that we haven't mentioned yet, central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs. How do those fit into this evolving landscape?
CBDCs are basically digital versions of a country's fiat currency. They're issued and controlled by the central bank.
So it's like a digital dollar or a digital euro.
Exactly.
But if it's still controlled by central banks, how is that any different from the digital money we already use for online banking?
It's a subtle but important difference. CBDCs would be a direct liability of the central bank, not a commercial bank. This could potentially reduce risks in the payment system and provide greater access to financial services for those who don't have traditional bank accounts.
So it's about increasing access and improving efficiency.
Exactly.
It seems like we're entering this new era of finance where multiple systems are emerging and interacting.
It's complex.
Exciting, but also a bit overwhelming.
That's the nature of innovation, right? It's disruptive, unpredictable. It comes with both promise and uncertainty.
Well said.
The key is to stay informed, ask questions, and be critical.
I think this deep dive has given our listeners a solid foundation to understand the world of cryptocurrency, the good, the bad, and the incredibly complex.
I hope so.
We've explored everything from the technical details to the potential societal impacts. And it's clear that this technology is here to stay. As crypto continues to evolve and integrate into our lives, it's going to be fascinating to see how it reshapes the financial landscape and the world around us.
I agree.
Thanks for joining us on this wild ride. I hope you learned something new and that you're as excited as we are to see what the future holds for this revolutionary technology. For our latest episodes, articles, and products designed to feed your curiosity,
Be sure to visit our website, www.dansplain.xyz. We got it all.
and expand your understanding of this amazing universe.
See you next time.
Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep Dansplaining the world around you.